The DHS finding more than 13,000 unaccompanied migrant children that were placed with unvetted sponsors throughout the U.S. This comes 1 week after a witness in a House Homeland Security hearing described just how little help those children received under Joe Biden.
There was also a notice of concern hotline where people could report concerns about the unaccompanied child's safety. But what this administration found was from August 2023 to January of 2025, 65,000 calls went unanswered.
That witness is Allie Hopper, founder of Guard Against Trafficking, and she joins us now. When I saw this, I wasn't surprised, but I was enraged, Allie. How could they not answer calls from children they gave the number to in case you're exploited? And they called and said, I'm being sexually exploited, and no one answered their messages.
Rachel, you're exactly correct. This hotline was set up as one of the many safeguards that were put in place. And unfortunately, when the policy on paper, when these safeguards are put in place on paper only, but they're not intended to be followed up on or function properly, this is what happens. And what's more horrifying is that these calls wouldn't have been even responded to. Like the call that I mentioned in my testimony, where a child called saying that grown men were coming into his room at night and they were touching him. This administration went through every single one of those calls, and that child was rescued and that sponsor was arrested. But if we hadn't had this administration take over and try to undo what the past administration did, those calls would have remained unanswered.
Well, God bless everyone who's going through that list of calls, those unanswered calls, and trying to do something about it. It seems like it was easier to adopt an animal from a shelter than it was to become a sponsor.
Yeah, yep, that's what we heard. And, you know, it's not a smile, it's a wince at the process, the entire process. When you have to adopt a dog, there are identity verification requirements, there's income verification requirements, and there were no meaningful background checks when you have to take in and apply for a sponsored child. There were no facial matches to the identifications that were sent into our agencies to sponsor a child.
Right.
So when you have agents saying that they've seen better jobs on Photoshop than the database of identities for sponsorship applications, that's horrifying.
Yeah, well, Allie, the Democrats fought DNA testing, which would have been an absolutely great way of finding out whether the sponsors were related or not. We know that they left children with MS-13 members. That one child was murdered by the MS-13 with tattoos sponsors. It goes on and on. Thank you for being a whistleblower. God bless you. And thank you to everyone out there in our government and in your group who are trying to rescue those who remain really in slavery and in captivity by these evil cartels and sex traffickers. Thank you, Allie.
Absolutely. Thank you.